This is Chris Pierce, and you are listening to the Self-Maintenance of the Brain and Body podcast. Every week, I'll share with you a simple and easy to implement self-care idea and challenge you to create a positive change in your life. Throughout these episodes, I discuss ways to improve sleep hygiene, how to improve mental health, and how to strengthen the most important muscle, the brain. I also dive into nutrition and exercise and discuss evidence-based self-care tips to reduce chronic pain. This is episode 2. In this episode, I'm going to share with you a 10-minute morning routine that will set you up for success to achieve good quality sleep when you lay down to go to bed in the evening. And I promise you, if you follow some of these tips, you'll improve your sleep quality and find many aspects of your life improving. But in this episode, we're going to talk about this 10-minute routine. You can learn more about the sleep optimization plan in detail in chapter 6 of my book, Self-Health Andragogy. Links to this book can be found in the show notes of this podcast. So this 10-minute routine begins as soon as your alarm goes off, as soon as you wake up. What you are going to do is you're going to wake up, go to the bathroom, put on some shoes, and go outside before you get distracted by anything else. If you live in an apartment and you cannot go outside, you can conduct this 10-minute routine inside. While you're outside, you're going to expose your eyes to as much light as possible. Stare towards the sun, but not directly in front of the sun. You're going to burn your eyes. Natural light is preferred, but if you wake up early before the sun is out, just stay in your room, stay in your house, and turn on all the lights in the room you're in. This exposure to light is going to synchronize your circadian rhythm. Now, your circadian rhythm, I'm sure most of you have heard about, it's the biological clock. It's what the body uses to regulate when we should be awake and when we should be asleep. And exposing your eyes to as much light as possible helps synchronize the circadian rhythm. The next tip during this 10-minute routine is regulating stress that's going to occur throughout the day. During this 10-minute routine, you're going to reboot the focus toward your life's purpose and priorities. You will also reflect and prepare the mind in advance to manage the things that cause stress throughout your day. In an article I recently read in the Journal of Dialogues in Clinical Neuroscience, a Dr. Luke Stanner explains how anxiety or simply worrying about a particular situation or the increased amount of stress throughout the day releases stress hormones and begins to prime the areas of the brain that is going to cause insomnia. So as you expose your eyes to light during this 10-minute routine, meditate and reflect on your priorities in life. What matters the most to you and what brings you joy? As you do this reflection, if any noise of the world or worries about the day's planned events pop in your head, just ask them to leave and focus on happiness. The goal here is to have a safe brain, a brain that feels safe and happy. A brain feels safe when it is free of worry and negative influences. And it's key to avoid looking at your mobile phone. Checking your social media or the news shifts your focus from your priorities and allows others out there to manipulate your thoughts and minds and increase the level of stress. Next, during this 10-minute routine, you're going to reboot your metabolism and bring it online to function correctly throughout the day. So on the way out the door to absorb the natural sunlight, reboot your mind and grab a light snack that can stimulate your metabolism. You want to consume something that you know is not going to irritate your stomach. You see, because the digestive system, it's at its peak operating capability around noon and slowly activates when we wake up. And if you have an irritated stomach in the morning, it's going to release stress hormones that influence unwanted stress and worry and cause more irritation. Now, the final task during your 10-minute routine is warming up the lymphatic system. So the lymphatic system, it supports immune system health, reduces inflammation, and helps regulate healthy body weight. And when you have a properly functioning lymphatic system, it can fight against many variables that impact sleep. The lymphatic system, it's made up of a network of tissues and vessels that transport a clear liquid called lymph. And the lymphatic system decreases during sleep and resumes functioning when we're awake. So to stimulate a lymphatic system, Sarah Cleveland, who's a senior physical therapist with the Anderson Cancer Center, she explains that activities that incorporate major muscle groups, such as the legs, the hips, and the shoulders, stimulate the lymphatic system. So squats, burpees, hip hinges can all influence the lymphatic system. So the final tip in this 10-minute routine is while you're outside absorbing the sun and reflecting, incorporate a few exercises to stimulate the lymphatic system while focusing on these priorities. So following these tips when you immediately wake up in the morning can help improve your quality of sleep later that evening. So I challenge you over the next week to incorporate all of these or just pick a few of them and see if you can tell some of the change in improved sleep and improved overall health that you're experiencing. You can learn more about this topic on my website at www.utah23.org. Also, please check out my self-care book titled Self-Health Andragogy, a self-directed learning approach to mental and physical self-care. This book is available on Kindle, print copy, and audiobook. You can find links to my website and my new book in the show notes of this podcast. Thanks for listening, and please tune in next week.